everyone! Welcome back to our channel. It's me, Anne. So for today's video, ang i-share ko naman sa inyo is regarding our civil wedding journey. What are the requirements in applying marriage license for civil wedding for foreigner marrying a Filipino? And how did we prepare our wedding in just a short period of time? And how much did we spend for our wedding? At paano ba kami nakatipid sa gastos? Considering no wedding planner and no wedding organizer, it's a DIY wedding. So if you guys are interested to know, so just keep on watching. Alright guys, since this is one of the most requested content, and I observe that lots of couples are getting married, even if we are still in a pandemic situation. So, wala talagang makakahadlang sa kasalan kahit na si COVID pa yan, di ba? That's why I want to share with you our civil wedding journey, especially for those couples out there that are planning to get married but on a tight budget in this time of pandemic. So, hopefully, this video will give you some ideas. Okay, so let's get started. Alright guys, so the first thing I'll be going to discuss is about the requirements. So, what are those requirements that we need in applying for marriage license for civil weddings, especially if the contracting parties are citizens of foreign country. So, as what I have mentioned on my first vlog, the first thing you need to get if you are a citizen of foreign country, first is certificate of legal capacity to contract marriage issued by the respective diplomatic or consular officials. Second, that would be a PSA CENOMAR. CENOMAR stands for Certificate of No Marriage or Certificate of Singleness. Third, that would be a PSA birth certificate for you and birth certificate for your fiancé from their respective country. Fourth, that would be barangay clearance for both contracting parties. Fifth is the valid IDs for both parties. Sixth is you need a community tax certificate or a cedula for both parties. Seventh is you need a family planning and pre-marriage counseling seminar. And also, if the contracting parties were previously married, you need to bring either one of these requirements. First, that would be a death certificate of deceased spouse. Second, that would be a decree of absolute divorce or recognition of foreign divorce. And also, guys, if the contracting parties age 18 to 21 years old, of course, you need a consent from your parents, a valid ID of your parents, and a cedula of your parents. And if the contracting party is aged 21 to 24 years old, you also need advice upon intended marriage from your parents, and as well as their valid ID and cedula. And lastly, guys, you need to provide a photocopy of your fiance's passport and a photocopy of his latest arrival stamp. And disclaimer, above all the requirements that I have mentioned is based on the requirements that we got from our municipality or local civil registrar. So I highly suggest that you should go to your municipality where you intend to get married, because there might be a difference or additional requirements as per municipality. Alright, so once you already have all these requirements, you can now apply for a marriage license. And take note, notice shall be posted for 10 consecutive days as the requirements for the release of marriage license. But in our case, within a week, na-release na yung aming marriage license. Okay, so after ma-release yung marriage license nyo guys, of course, you can now set the date of your wedding. But since this is a civil wedding, so you cannot choose your preferred date of your wedding, but instead, you need to follow the available schedule of the judge. So in our case, we got married at the municipal trial court and the available schedule of our judge is every Tuesday and Wednesday only. So I suggest that you should ask them. In that way, you can book your wedding date. And before I forget, you need to have 2 sponsors or witnesses on the day of your wedding. Moving on, once you already have a schedule for your wedding date, of course, you need to prepare for the wedding. So, what are those things that you need to prepare and how much should be our wedding budget? In our case, since our wedding was a sudden event, so we're not able to save and allocate a big budget for it. Technically, we don't have a specific budget for our wedding. That's why we did everything to save a penny. But we're still able to make our special day memorable and extraordinary. And knowing that this is a DIY wedding, so there's no need for you to hire a wedding planner or a wedding organizer. So you can be the bride at the same time you can be your own wedding organizer. Especially if you are on a tight budget, right? So I'll be going to share with you my ideas on how did we prepare our wedding. At the same time, kung paano kami nakatipid sa gastos. Okay, so after we discussed all the requirements for the civil wedding, let's proceed to the next step. But before anything else, you need to have a pen and paper with you so you can write down all the important details that you need to consider for the wedding preparation. In that way, you will not miss any details, and so you can organize your checklist. Alright, tip number 1, wedding invitation. So, paano ba tayo makakatipid sa wedding invitation? Guys, I suggest na wag na kayong pumunta sa mga nagde-designs ng mga wedding invitation kasi for sure, mamamahalan lang kayo. And if you are on a tight budget, I suggest that you should make your own invitation instead. Because sa panahon ngayon, pandemic, so we don't really need to make a hard copy of your invitation. So in our case, we make our own invitation and we send it virtually through messengers. So I suggest pumunta kayo sa Canva or Pinterest because they have a lot of free wedding designs and a free wedding invitation template. And also guys, DIY invitation, it is definitely a cost savings. But if you have a budget for it, then go ahead. You can produce your a hard copy of your wedding invitation. Okay, tip number 2. That would be wedding ring. Of course, you won't be able to complete your wedding day without your wedding ring. Because wedding ring, it symbolizes the unity of the couple. But it doesn't mean or require that you should need an expensive one, right? So guys, I suggest na mag-canvas muna kayo kung saan kayo mas makakamura. And tip ko lang din, huwag kayong bumili ng wedding ring sa mga mall. Because nag-canvas kami doon, and then yung price niya is twice or thrice the price compared doon sa if sa labas kayo bumili. So in our case, we go for gold ring. It's an 18 karat gold. It's very simple and not so expensive. And actually, nabili namin siya sa Cebu Wedding Ring Store or pawn shop. So if you guys are from Cebu, you can check out their page, Cebu Wedding Ring. And di ko na lang din i-mention kung magkano yung nabili naming wedding ring. Okay? Right, tip number 3, that would be your bridal dress or bridal gown and wedding suit. In our case, guys, since we only have 1 week to prepare for our wedding, So, ang ginawa namin, nag-rent kami ng ready-to-wear bridal gown and groom suit. And then, nakuha namin siya for package na. Medyo pricey lang yung napili kong wedding gown since second user ako. But anyway, mabait naman yung owner, so she gave me a discount. And then, nakuha namin yung package for only 5,000 pesos. So, nakatipid kami. But if you guys have a long ways to prepare your wedding, so I suggest, especially for the bride, you can check out online store like Lazada because they have a lot of wedding designs na mga dress or wedding attire. But if you want, you can just buy a simple white dress sa mga department store. And pwede din naman kayong magpatahi if especially may gusto kayong specific design na dress na gusto nyo suotin sa wedding. But it depends on your budget preference, guys. Pero if kung ayaw niyo naman gumastos, pwede din naman kayong manghiram kung meron kayong mahihiraman. But anyway, it's your choice because at the end of the day, it's your wedding. So, as long as comfortable kayo sa mga napili nyong susuotin for the wedding, then that would be fine. Alright, tip number 4, that would be venue. So, for the venue, I suggest na yung kunin nyo is yung swak sa budget at the same time, comfortable kayo at yung mga guests. And dapat nyo rin i-consider na yung place is accessible at malapit lang din sa place kung saan kayo ikakasal. So, no need to travel far. So, in our case, since kinasal kami sa aming municipal trial court at malapit lang siya sa aming bahay, so hindi ko na siya kinonsider kumuha ng ibang venue. So, ang ginawa ko, since malaki naman yung aming bakuran, so yun yung kinonsider ko as our wedding reception. So, bakit pa kami lalayo at kagastos ng libo-libo para kumuha ng ibang venue if meron naman kaming malaking bakuran na pwedeng gamitin, right? So, if you guys have a spacious backyard na enough i-accommodate yung number of guests nyo, then why not use it and consider it as your wedding reception? And for sure, malaki yung matitipid nyo. Tip number 5, that would be guests. So if you guys are in a tight budget, so I highly suggest that you should limit the number of your guests, just like what I did. So just invite those people close to your heart, like your families, close relatives, and close friends only. And so for the rest, you don't have to feel guilty if you couldn't invite them all, since pandemic ngayon. And if they are smart enough, then they should understand you. So, wag niyo na i-stress yung sarili niyo kung hindi mo sila may invite lahat. Alright? Alright, tip number 6, that would be catering. So guys, I suggest na yung catering na kukunin nyo is yung may affordable wedding package na kayang i-accommodate lahat ng guest nyo according to your budget preference. So, mag-canvas kayo and for sure, marami kayong makikita at mapagpipilian na affordable lang. Na kasama na yung sa package nila yung setup sa venue, decoration, yung flower arrangement, and of course, dapat kasama na din yung masarap na food, which is very important. So, in our case guys, since we only have limited time for the preparation, so hindi na kami nakapag-canvas. So, isa lang yung catering na inquire namin, which is malapit lang din sa amin. So, in-avail namin yung package nila, which is 12,000 pesos. And then, yung inclusion is, sila na yung bahala sa decoration, sa venue. Yung flower arrangement, table and chair setup, and free use of utensils. And then kasama na din yung paggamit sa mga lalagyan ng mga food. So, parang buffet style siya, guys. So, medyo sosyalan yung datingan. And of course, may kasama na ding 5 waiters na tumulong mag-assist sa aming mga guests, which is very convenient in our part. So, ang disadvantage lang sa catering na nakuha namin is hindi kasama yung food sa inclusion. But it's okay, malaki naman din yung natipid namin sa budget. Alright, tip number 7, that would be food. So guys, as what I have mentioned earlier, since yung food is hindi siya kasama sa inclusion ng catering na nakuha namin, so I decided na bumili na lang kami ng isang buong baboy, which is mga around or more than 50 kilos. So, pinaihaw na namin siya doon sa slaughterhouse bago dinala sa bahay para lutuin. And then, nag-hire ako ng isang tagaluto, which is kapitbahay namin. And also, with the help na din sa mga kuya ko. So, sila yung nagtulong-tulong para sa pagluto ng mga food for the wedding. And then, nagpa-additional na din ako ng isang lechon. So, since Pinoy tayo guys, of course, hindi mawawala yung lechon sa handaan. Kasi masarap yung kubal, di ba? And then, meron din kaming kunting dessert, which is donated by Ate Paz. Ate Paz, mother siya ng sister-in-law ko. So, hi Ate Paz, thank you so much sa dessert. Himuin niyo akong balik. Alright, so going back guys, so yung nagastos namin overall sa food and drinks, nasa ano siya, mga less than 30,000. So, expected na yan guys na medyo malaki-laki yung magagastos nyo for food and depende pa yan kung gaano karami yung bisita. So guys, since yung kukunin yung catering is my food na, then much better. Pero kung hindi nyo gusto yung food nila, or may mga ganong scenario kasi na hindi nyo bet yung food na isi-serve nila, so at least may idea na kayo na pwede pa, kayo na lang ng family nyo yung magtulungan para magluto sa food. So in our case, hindi na kami nag-worry sa food kasi alam ko naman na masasarap magluto yung family ko. So, less stress na din yun sa amin for the wedding preparation. Tip number 8, that would be wedding cake. So guys, sa wedding cake naman, it doesn't really require na kailangan nyo talagang mag-cake ng bonggang-bongga. Lalo na if you are on a tight budget. So kahit one layer cake pa yan, okay na. But if you have a budget naman, then go kahit ilang layers ng cake pa yan. Pero para dun sa mga nagbabudget like us, so I suggest na humanap kayo ng cake na masarap at affordable. For sure, meron pa kayong marami pa kayong makikita dyan. And then, wag na kayong maging choosy if yung cake na napili nyo is galing pa yan sa mga hindi pa sikat na paggawaan ng cake. So, yung sa amin, fortunately, may nakita akong Facebook friend na nagbi-business ng cake. At di ako nag-regret na sa kanya ako umorder kasi aside sa masarap yung cake niya, it's very affordable pa. Compared dun sa 3 suppliers na na-ask ko, which is yung wedding cake nila is nag-range ng 5,000 to 10,000. At depende pa yun sa design. And for me guys, I don't want to spend that kind of money for just a cake. So, sobrang nakatipid kami nun guys sa aming wedding cake. Customized na siya, 3-tier cake. Simple lang yung pinadesign ko. At nag-additional na din ako ng 2 dosenang cupcake. At ang nabayaran ko nun is around or less than 2,000. So, sobrang tipid na nun guys. And I'm so thankful to her kasi kahit na malayo yung bahay namin sa bahay nila, pero dineliver talaga nila personally sa bahay namin. So, thank you so much, Ma'am Verna, sa limian o affordable nga cake. So, guys, kung taga Cebu mo, ganahan mo order or mo try sa iyahang cake na lami. So, I highly suggest and recommend Ma'am Verna. So, you can contact her directly sa iyahang Facebook account. Tip number 9, that would be bride's hairstylist and makeup artist. So guys, kung marunong naman kayong mag-makeup sa sarili nyo at mag-ayos ng hair, then I suggest na kayo na lang yung gumawa kesa naman magbayad pa kayo ng libo-libo para sa makeup artist and hairstylist, at depende pa yan sa profile ng makukuha nyong makeup artist and hairstylist. But in my case, since wala naman akong talent sa pag-makeup at pag-aayos ng hair, so, naghanap kami ng makeup artist and hairstylist. Actually, yung sister-in-law ko yung umanap kasi may kakilala siya. So, yung nakuha naming makeup artist and stylist, siya na rin yung nag-host sa kasal ko. O, diba? Bongga, ang daming talent. Sana all. Alright, so guys, sobrang nakatipid din kami nun sa bayad kasi yung chinarge lang niya sa akin sa hairstylist, sa makeup at sa pag-host is 1,500 lang, o di ba? Sobrang tipid na nun, guys. Actually, di siya perfect, but nasatisfied naman ako sa outcome. That's all that counts. So guys, if hindi rin kayo marunong mag-makeup sa sarili nyo, kagaya ko, then I suggest na humanap kayo ng mga kakilala na marunong mag-makeup at mag-ayos ng buhok na mga mura lang yung talent fee. Pero kung wala kayong kakilala, then use your connection. Tip number 10, that would be Bridal Bouquet and Bridal Car Bouquet. So guys, for the Bridal Car Bouquet, it's not really necessary na kailangan talagang merong bouquet yung car. Since civil wedding naman to, so it's not really required. But if kasya pa naman sa budget, then why not include it sa list? And for the Bridal Bouquet naman, I suggest na mag-canvas kayo kung saan kayo makakamura. Actually, nag-check din ako sa online store like Lazada, guys. Meron silang mga murang bridal bouquet, kaso hindi na ako bumili kasi nga baka hindi umabot yung delivery before sa wedding. And if you want, guys, pwede din naman kayong mag-DIY sa inyong bouquet if you have time. Nag-check din ako sa mga paggawaan ng wedding bouquet sa mga Facebook. Kaso, ang mamahal, nasa around 4,000. And for me, it's not worth it to buy. Kasi nga, diba, after the wedding, ihagis mo lang naman yung bouquet mo. So, sayang yung 4,000. So, since gusto kong makatipid, so, we decided to check sa Freedom Park. So, yung Freedom Park, guys, if you are from Cebu, then you should know where is Freedom Park. Sa Carbon rin siya, guys. Carbon ni siyang Freedom Park. So, Freedom Park, they have a lot of various things that you can buy, from flowers to furniture. So, to make the story short, doon kami nagpagawa ng bridal bouquet at para doon sa bouquet ng car. So, ang nagastos lang namin, guys, is less than 2,000. So, sobrang tipid na nun. So, guys, I suggest, if gusto nyo makatipid sa bouquet nyo, bumili na lang kayo ng flowers na gusto nyo. Then, maghanap kayo ng florist na mura lang yung charge niya for the flower arrangement. So, yun yung ginawa din namin guys. Bumili lang kami ng mga flowers na gusto kong ilagay or ipa-design sa aking bouquet. And then, nagbayad lang din kami sa florist. So, yun. All in all, less than 2,000 lang yung aming nagasto. Tip number 11, that would be wedding souvenirs. Traditionally, sa Philippine wedding, guys, may mga souvenirs or giveaways talaga na pinamimigay ng mga couple sa mga guests. Like yung figurines, yung trending ngayon na succulents, lucky bamboo, at iba pa. Tip ko lang guys, don't spend too much on souvenirs. Especially if you are on a budget. Actually, marami namang mga ideas na pwedeng gawing souvenir na makakatipid kayo. And if you have time, pwede din kayong mag-DIY souvenirs. But in our case, since limited nga lang yung time namin to prepare, so ang naisipan namin gawing souvenirs is face mask. Kasi nga 'di ba, pandemic ngayon. And face mask is a must nowadays. So at least yung pre-provide namin na souvenirs is magagamit ng mga guests. And then yung pinagawa naming face mask is may print siya ng wedding date namin. And I think 50 pieces yata yung pinagawa namin. Tsaka yung face mask namin ni Habi na may groom and bride na print. And then, yung nabayaran namin guys is only 1,500. So, sobrang tipid na nun na idea. So, I suggest na yung gawin ninyong souvenirs is mga essential na pwedeng gamitin nowadays at hindi lang pang display. But it's up to you pa rin guys. It depends on your budget preference kung ano yung gusto ninyong gawing souvenirs. Alright? Tip number 12, that would be bridal car. So guys, para makatipid kayo sa bridal car, if ever meron kayong family members or friends na may car, baka pwede nyo silang pakisuyuan na kung pwede hiramin yung kanilang sasakyan for your wedding. Kahit na kayo na lang yung magbayad para sa gas, in that way, makakatipid pa din kayo. Pero kung if ever na wala talaga kayong mahihiraman, then I suggest na humanap kayo ng rental car na affordable lang yung rate. So in our case, nag-rent din kami ng car, which is self-drive with 24 hours in use. So, mas makakales kasi guys kung meron kayong sariling driver. Pero kung wala kayong driver, then pwede kayong mag-rent naman na may driver na. So, yung sa amin, yung kuya ko yung nag-drive, then ang nabayaran lang namin is 1,200 para sa rental car. So, I suggest guys na ganun na lang din yung gawin nyo if ever na wala talaga kayong mahihiraman. Okay? Tip number 13. That would be lights and sound. So guys, for the lights and sound, if meron na neto kasama sa inclusion ng catering or sa venue na nakuha nyo, then much better para wala na kayong problemahin. But in our case, since wala naman neto na kasama sa inclusion ng catering na nakuha namin, so, ang ginawa namin is, since meron na din naman kaming sariling sound system, actually sa brother ko, so wala na kaming binayaran doon. Ang wala kami is yung lights. So, nag-rent kami doon sa kakilala lang din ng brother ko. Which is, yung binayaran namin is only 2,500. Kasama na doon yung smoke machine. So, sobrang tipid na nun guys. Sobrang budget friendly lang yung offer niya sa amin. For my last tip guys, for all the bride to be out there, don't stress yourself too much. Huwag kayong magba-bridezilla. And remember, wedding is just a one-day event. So don't forget to enjoy the day and seize the moment. So that's it guys for today's vlog. I hope may natutunan kayo sa mga tips na i-share ko. And hopefully, na-explain ko sa inyo ng maayos. And I hope this video will be helpful to our soon-to-be married couples out there. And advance congratulations and best of luck. And thank you so much for watching. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and click the notification bell para ma-notify kayo for my next vlog. Goodbye!